Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is another episode of Royale Rumble, where every time I attempt to win the Alberian Battle Royale with a new adventure. Now if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that there are 13 other episodes in this series, and I plan to release one of these for every weapon type of adventure in the Alberian Battle Royale, plus one of them every time a new adventurer would come out who had a unique or special Royale skill. So the time has come to finally draw the curtain to a close on this series and do a little bit of catching up as well, because since the last time I posted a Battle Royale video, 3 adventurers have released with unique Battle Royale skills: Summer Leonidas, Regina, and Shingen. And although I didn't have him at the time, Summer Leonidas is who we're starting off with here. He was a dream summon choice for me, partially because I just think he's cool, and I like Leonidas and wanted to get the Summer ult, but a little bit also because I wanted to make this one last send-off video for the Battle Royale series and get to try out all the unique weapon types in it. So of course he is a Lance type adventurer, but instead of having a buff as his skill in this mode, he has a damage dealing skill, so far so good with us trying to get the victory with him. After we finish with Leonidas, then we'll go for Regina, and we'll end things off with Shingen. The Battle Royale is honestly a much maligned mode in Dragalia Lost. It did not pick up a whole lot of steam, but I think that there are some ideas here that I really did enjoy. Just the novelty of every match feeling different, at least in the initial phases of this content, was something that really excited me. But with the amount that you had to play to collect all the rewards every month, I think it was just more than I actually wanted to indulge in the mode. So ultimately it did reach a point for me where my strategy for clearing out the monthly rewards was kind of just to go AFK in this mode while I was doing something else. And that's not to say I didn't have fun with it, and certainly for a time I was trying to clear with as many different adventures as I could, even just for the different cosmetic skins that were available as rewards, and also just for the sake of trying to get those victories with all sorts of different characters. That was a pretty fun aspect of things for me, but I just don't think this really had a lot of staying power, and the updates to it were not really enough to make it feel substantially different. So we never got like a different type of map, for example. We never got like a desert map or a beach map or just something to spice things up, and I think the reason for that was very quickly after its release, it was already pretty clear that it was not a super popular mode, and my guess is that it was a lot less popular than the resources it took to make it would sort of warrant that it needed to be for it to continue. So that's kind of my perspective on it. Who knows how many development hours went into this mode, because it does sort of flip some of the basic game systems of Dragalia Lost on its head. There's a lot of things that are different here to the normal game, so I do wonder, this ambitious of a mode, what was the intention with it? Was it really supposed to be something bigger? Way back in the day, it was called Alberian Battle Royale Season 0. Well, we never got a Season 1, so yeah, I think it got canned pretty quickly. For better or for worse, I know for some players out there, you enjoy the co-op aspect of Dragalia Lost. This type of PvP was never super fun to you, so I get that, and hopefully you were able to enjoy it a little bit, but if not, hopefully there was other content in Dragalia Lost that you found fun. I definitely noticed on all the previous videos I made about the Alberian Battle Royale, it was by far the least popular thing on the channel. And that's including some of the story reaction videos, which are not the most popular, to be sure, and some of the event videos as well. So you can see here that the lobbies for this are kind of dwindling down. I think there was one human player we encountered that whole time. We're styling, of course, with Volk's Lance on Summer Leonidas, and we got the victory, so all's well that ends well. But you would love to see more players in there. A recent update to the game made it so that the lobbies or the queues will launch with fewer human players in them, just to keep it firing, so players who are grinding it can do so. Here's round 2. This time around we're using Regina. Blades ended up being a pretty meta weapon type in the Alberian Battle Royale, with their combination of buff on their first skill plus their force strikes, able to do a lot of damage and KO enemies very quickly. Of course, KOing and wrangling down AI is another story, as they just continuously walk away from you at times. But generally, blades can be really effective when you start to see AI line up in this type of situation at beating up on multiple enemies at a time. So we'll definitely get some KOs here, which will give us some Dragon Gauge and fuel us as we start to face real humans, perhaps, or maybe not, we'll see. But yeah, overall, this Battle Royale, I think like a lot of things in Dragalia Lost, there's untold potential of what it could be, and it is sweet that this type of mode was in Dragalia Lost, but you sort of wonder, had there been another type of mode, you know, maybe auto chess, let's just say, would that have been more successful? Would that have been more popular? And Dragalia Lost isn't the only gacha that has side modes like this, but this one seems especially ambitious, I would say. Anyway, Regina playing pretty well for us, but we haven't really encountered any true conflict or true difficulty so far. This AI Gerota putting up a little bit more of a fight than I would expect, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to get the victory just fine here, or maybe we'll just let Gerota go if he proves to be too much of a nuisance. All in all, I think that the Battle Royale mode just wasn't something that was really needed in Dragalia Lost. As cool as it was as a new diversion, I wonder if, you know, just another series or even one boss fight might have just been more popular and gained more traction. Maybe another raid boss type fight, like a Merciati or something to that effect. So now we have our additional enemies that have summoned. I don't have really good tablets on Regina right now, so I'm going to try to look for some of those. And this will work fine, but what I like to do as we head toward the end of the match, in general, is always have either paralysis or burn, because those are the afflictions that cannot be resisted. There aren't ability tablets to resist those, so it's pretty good to land those. And there you see there's a burn-inducing tablet, so we'll trade our ranged attack for that one. But it's pretty good to inflict those in the final conflict on your enemy and take the initiative in that sense, because if you do so, they will not be able to shapeshift because they'll be afflicted, but you will be able to shapeshift, and that's usually a pretty nice lethal stratagem, so to speak, to end things off. That was definitely not worth it right there. But another thing I like to do in the end game and just in general is anytime you come across a healing tablet, even if you already have 2 heals, just use one of the heals you have saved so you get an active regen stack on you, and sometimes that could come in handy before you go into combat. Now, I don't have another heal here. I'm surprised I hadn't gotten Slayer Strength yet, but we get it there. We now have 2 burns, and we've opted for damage. We get the Burning Punisher. So I'm not sure who all is left here. Probably just a handful of other players, if that. And there we see that it's a Sophie AI and probably a Yuden AI. Possibly a human, because Yuden is the default name, and it is fun to pretend to be an AI when you're actually a human. That is kind of enjoyable, but that probably is just an AI Yuden, if I had to guess. So we get the burn, then we come in for the KO here. As I transform into Hycothonius, Yuden can't transform, of course. Maybe not at all if he's an AI, but even if he's a human, he wouldn't be able to. And there's our victory with Regina. So her skill, unlike a normal Blades, you get the swap between offensive and defensive modes, but you also get some nice damage on it, so pretty solid skill for this mode. Let's continue on to Shingen. Going for the hat trick, our final win of the series, and see what we're able to do with him. So Shingen has a really sweet skill in this mode where he deals damage and increases his movement speed, which is sort of the one big weakness of Axe Adventurers. They were popular for a time, but I don't think they ever gained the popularity of like daggers or blades. Maybe earlier in the meta, maybe axes were a little bit more popular then, but in the end, I think this was actually a fairly balanced mode. Some of the special characters like Seimei are still very good compared to regular adventurers, and wands are pretty good in general, but Seimei, especially with his skill, is really good in this mode. Some of the dragons are better than others, and there's like a lot of little strategy to kiting around objects so that you don't have line of sight and dragon skills or other types of skills don't connect. There's some strategy to which tablets you pick up and save for the endgame, like I sort of talked about earlier. And I don't really think there's actually as much randomness as people might feel there is in this type of mode. It's pretty consistent what happens, and I think that as Kaleidoscape has been out for longer, maybe players also realize that that's pretty consistent too. I feel like when Kaleidoscape first came out, there were some complaints about the randomness if you choose to skip ahead, making it too difficult to clear. But if you play the mode a lot, you can usually surmount things with just the last few floors, even if you skip tickets or do your daily skip toward the end there. This matchup with Linus is not going so good, but we do have our awesome skills to use here, and now this Linus is kind of pinned in a corner. Not sure if we actually get the KO for that, or that was on the miasma, but we'll take it. And we're going to encounter an actual real-life person this time around, which is very fun. So I ended up running into somebody for the final matchup of this series, who's over on the Discord for this channel, and that was really sweet to see, as it's one of the people that I know is actually kind of invested into this and has been trying to clear it with as many different adventures as possible. So that was kind of fun to run into. Let's see what happens here, as we're just trying to clean up the AI for now. But if you see a Bondforge Zethia on screen, that's your mark for that particular person. Anyway, Shingen is, really good. The AI just cannot compete in this mode, so feasting on them works pretty well. I'll probably do a video about the Kaleidoscape coming up soon here too, especially as I think end of April, maybe even the 25th. We have the date, I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think we're getting a big content update for that alongside Primal Zodiark in the main campaign. So if that's the case and we get 10 new levels in there, along with additional enemies, I'll probably check that out too and make a video shortly here. But otherwise, plans for this week, and there you see the Bondforge Zethia in the corner. Plans for this week, Monday or Tuesday, we'll try release a master clear of Primal Zodiark. Wednesday or Thursday, we'll post my reaction to chapter 25 of the story. And of course I stop attacking just to say hey. And we get the hay back, which is perfect. And then toward the end of this coming week is when I'll do maybe a Kaleidoscape update of some kind. Still slowly clearing out content. I hadn't finished in Dragalia Lost, so there's still some things I have to complete. You saw recently, you may have watched it, my Mercurial Gauntlet video, where I finally got around to finishing that off. So consider this my final farewell to Battle Royale, and I guess the Kaleidoscape video I post will be a send-off to that as well. So I disengaged from Zethia there. Henry Daddy is the username. And now I'm just kind of roaming around because I really don't know where they might be. But there they are. And that was a nice example of using the stage to kite and attack. You can see how that looks like it should hit me, but by being on the other side of an object, it won't. I know for some players the lag made this mode kind of not the greatest either, because maybe to him it looks like I was right next to him. We're talking with stickers, so I do feel a little bit guilty about this, but I decided to come in. I feel like it's time to end the match, and we got sort of the concession there. Maybe that was wrong of me to do, but I tried to apologize at the end. But that was it. That was our third victory in a row with our final adventure for the series. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you were one of the viewers who stuck through it and really liked this mode, definitely let me know in the comments below. Expect more Dragalia Lost content to come as we wind down toward the end of service. May is already around the corner, so it's gonna happen before you know it. July, the story will culminate in its climactic finale. Very much looking forward to that. You can see here all the adventures with special weapon types, plus Eleonora and a Kimono Knot as well. That is going to do it for today though, everyone, so thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.